Hey y'all, it's your legal bestie attorney Symone, and this is slightly different from our regularly scheduled programming, but we are covering now. This week we've got Dr. Ariel from King's Court, right? So I love King's Court. I love all types of dating reality shows. Many of you were initially introduced to me because I was on the dating reality show Ready to Love. And I was binge watching actually King's Court recently, and I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to have some of the ladies on the show. So this week we've got Dr. Ariel, and we are actually at episode 9. So next week will be the finale. So I'm so excited to have her. And part of the reason that I want to talk about it and why it actually does fit with the law is because there are, of course, legal elements with how shows are produced and, of course, how it impacts you as reality show contestants, I would say, or cast members. But also, like, we like some tea, y'all. I like to talk about love. I like to talk about the law and all of the above. That's what we're going to do tonight with Dr. Ariel. So without further ado, as you are joining us, make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe, and let us know where you are viewing us from. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey,
Hey, Dr. Ariel. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
So thanks so much for joining us tonight. Okay, we got the comments going over here. Oh, yep, they are on the screen. Yes. So I figured for this episode, so not last week, but the week before, we had Brianna,
Yes.
who was one of the other cast members with yourself. And it was the week that Brianna went home. And I've known Brianna for about 10 or 15 years. So I was like, oh, I definitely want to talk to her about it because the show that I was on, which was called Ready to Love, which is still on, it's on the Oprah Winfrey Network. It's actually produced by the same people as your show, which is called Lighthearted Entertainment, and both of whom were created by Will Packer Productions. So it seemed very familiar. I actually like to say that I feel like King's Court is Ready to Love, but with a budget and celebrities. Did you ever, and it's no offense if you didn't, who cares, but did you ever watch Ready to Love?
Yes, I actually watched the Houston one.
Okay. Now,
Yes.
Dr. Ariel, you are living in Houston now. Are you from Houston?
No, I am originally from New York, but I grew up in South Florida
Ah,
and West Palm Beach. So I went there when I was about 10, and then I ended up going to college there, grad school
which
there.
one?
I went to Florida State University where I got my bachelor's. Go Noles.
Okay.
And then I went to grad school at University of South Florida to get my doctorate in physical therapy.
And
Yes. And then I moved to Atlanta. So right after grad school, I moved to Atlanta and lived there for like 6 years. Worked, and I wanted to move up. So I moved to Houston because it's medical center here. So I came to
yes.
Houston, started working, and then I got my MBA. So
Oh,
we are degreed over here. I got my MBA in business and healthcare management.
okay. So I got to ask you. So when I was in law school, I chose to do an entire semester in Atlanta because I told myself when I graduate, I want to be firm and feel confident on whatever city I'm going to launch my career in. I want to know
Mhm.
that that's the city for me. I didn't want to have any regrets. So in law school, I did a whole semester in Atlanta and I said, hell to the no, no, now, because everybody was gay except for me.
Oh my goodness.
What was dating like? I know you said you lived in Atlanta for a few years. What was dating like for you in Atlanta?
I think it was super hard because you didn't know who was being genuine. You didn't know who was like fronting because a lot of people put on to seem like they have more than they have. And people, you
Yes.
don't know if they're being authentic or if they're being
Mhm.
honest. And then you just find a lot of people who are not honest with what they really have. So that
Yeah.
was so foreign to me because in Florida, it's kind of like you have it or you don't. Like there's no trying to put on or trying to
More
pretend like
authentic? Was it like more authentic?
yeah. The way you live is the way you live. So when I
Right.
moved to Atlanta and it's not pretentious, but it's just you are pretending like trying to keep up with the Joneses, how they say. Right?
Agreed. Agreed. And when I describe for me, I like Houston. I love dating in Houston. I'm originally from Dallas. I literally woke up one day and was like, I want a husband. I'm gonna move to Houston because I feel like Houston is like Atlanta without all the gays. You know, like the trade ones, the download. I like the regular gays. I like the out and about gays. I don't like
So
the
you're
secret.
okay with the DL ones?
No, I don't want the DL one.
Oh,
I need you to tell me how gay you are and then give me a percentage. So I
oh.
say on my show all the time, my cap is like 39% gay. That's the most I can do. I rolled it back to like 25.
You're gonna have to
25, like
explain
thumb
to
in
me.
the
So
butt.
does that mean that a part of them like men?
No, 25, not necessarily. I feel like 25 is like thumb in the butt. Like, I don't know. Y'all
That reminds me of okay.
explain it in the comments. Y'all know. Y'all
I don't know. I don't know. Because
I
that
dated one
gets
of Diddy's
like you're okay with
gay
pay.
sex workers. One of my boyfriends is
Yeah.
one of Diddy's gay sex workers. So I talk about that. So I mean, it wasn't on purpose, but like in retrospect, when I look at photos of him and how he was always baby oiled down and wore this deep V-neck, it was like a V-neck that was super tight and it would like go down to his belly button. I mean, I probably knew better, but I honestly didn't care because he was very generous. One of those. It was like one of those scenarios. So I say that to say, let's bring it on down to today. What made you, with all of your accomplishments, etc., say, you know, not only do I want to go on a dating show, but I'm going to go on a dating show in Atlanta.
I know. You know, funny story. I did not know where it was going to be filmed. So
Oh,
initially, when I heard about the show, they were looking. I didn't realize they were looking nationwide. So I applied based in Houston. So I
okay.
didn't know up until like finalizing I'm going to be on the show where it was going to be filmed. So I
Did you
had
know what show you were even applying for? Really?
nope. They told us the concept. It's like you're going to
Okay.
go on. It's going to be 3 celebrity men. It's going to be professional, mature women that are interested in something meaningful, and the men are interested in something meaningful. And
That's
it's
what
not
they
going to be
told us too.
ratchet. You know, it's supposed to be like grown and sexy. You're trying to meet someone for a lifetime, right? So I was
A
like, okay,
lifetime.
that
Yep.
sounds appealing, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And y'all, I'm going to tell my viewers, if you've never watched this show, still watch the interview because you're going to get some tips. We're going to interchange the law into this as well. But also, you don't have to have watched the show to be able to enjoy this interview and our conversations because it's going to be about dating, love, growth, etc. So you applied, you didn't know exactly what show this was, right? Now, one of the elements of my experience when I applied to Ready to Love was they gave us this extensive personality test. Did you take a personality test?
Mm-hmm.
And wasn't it like 400, 500 questions, like very
Yeah,
long,
it was so long.
largely true and false?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you think of that test?
It reminded me of a test I took at work because we take similar personality tests at work to determine what type of colleague you would be if they employ.
Oh,
So it was very similar. So I
mhm.
wasn't not used to it.
Right. Because in the workforce, they use those tests to determine like how to best utilize you as an
Yeah,
employee. You know, are you a researcher? Are you more give you the task and you'll run with it?
exactly.
Or whatever. Do you like to present? Whatever. What was your understanding of how the show was going to use the results of your test?
I honestly thought they were gonna see if I was crazy or not. Like I thought
Same.
by the way I answered, you're gonna say, is she mentally stable to do a show like this?
Right.
And can she come out without breaking down? Or can she do the show and not break down on the show? That's how I took it.
Same here. I thought they were giving me that test because we took the exact same test. It's a very specific one. It's my understanding they started using it some years ago, I believe, on The Bachelor or one of those dating shows. And it's given administered by like this old white guy doctor who's like a million years old, etc., but very good at his craft. And he is a reality show like psychiatrist type.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I thought, oh, they're giving us this test to make sure I don't stab my castmates.
Yes.
I always think about how, like, remember back in the day, the TV show Jenny Jones? It was like Ricky Lake, but okay, it was like Ricky Lake. It was one of those. But there was a show similar to Ricky Lake, but it was before Ricky Lake, Jenny Jones. And basically, it went off the air because one of the people on the show stabbed another person on the show and unalived them, basically.
Wow.
It was it was like the show was like a talk show, and it was hey, I have a surprise, someone has a crush on you. And basically they brought out this straight guy to tell him someone had a crush, and it was like a gay guy from the neighborhood. So the straight guy unalived the gay one, because back in the 90s he didn't want to be known as that. He didn't want any of that. So anyway, I was like, oh, they just don't want me to murder anybody, which is cool because I don't want to have to murder anybody either.
Mhm.
Because, when you're living together, like on my season, we all lived in a resort together. I was like, oh yeah, I could definitely see myself stabbing some people here. But in reality, they actually didn't care about that, because like we had criminals, we had people who'd served prison time, like
Wow.
etc. Yeah. But they're nice people. I mean, I love them to death. I had no issues with them. But did you realize the real reason that they do that is because, reality show isn't scripted, or at least I will say the shows that we've been on were not scripted, right? They never gave you a script or told you, hey, say this. Instead, by using that, they know what your triggers are. Because the personality test that we take, it actually tells you, it says, these are this person's insecurities. This is what's going to make them cry. This is what's going to make them confident. And then they literally put you in situations that are the opposite. So for me, I'm an overachiever. I got a full ride to University of Pittsburgh, study finance at 16 years old, and went off to school, blah, blah, blah. And then I went to an Ivy League law school and got that almost full ride scholarship there too, blah, blah, blah. So for me, my trigger is anyone that thinks I'm dumb or that I'm not capable. And so, of course, first episode, I'm put in the bottom, and like a whole different elements of my personality came out. So I
feel like I've seen this episode.
I say that to ask you, do you feel like you were in any environments, scenarios, or even just like situations where you were like, oh, this was triggering, and maybe parts of my personality came up that where I wouldn't have usually responded that way?
I think the whole experience was that. Because I felt like I had to do so many like emotional checks and say, okay, don't come off insecure, don't come off too needy, don't come off argumentative. Like I had to do so many self-checks. I was like, damn, I'm not like this. I was like over critical of like how I was behaving.
Yes.
And it made me like, it brought out insecurities that I didn't think I was insecure.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting just being in the dynamic of seeing someone you're interested in date somebody else, and then you just sit there and watch. It's so
correct, weird. Right? And so like, including like, I know one of my castmates, one of her triggers was competition with other women. And there was a day where I think like our friends or our family came in, and she was there with her two love interests, or her favorite love interest. And then another girl who had the same or similar love interest was also on the date. And it was really difficult for her. And she had to take a moment and go to the side and cry. But what's odd is like, the truth is like all of those emotions are normal. And what's not normal, it's fucking in the house with a bunch of other people also dating your same man. Like, that will never happen again. Right. So I love, or I like to clarify when people are like, was it real? Was it scripted? I'm like, no, they didn't even have to script it, because they knew our triggers so well. They could just create the scenario and they would already know, how we were going to respond until you check yourself.
Yes.
Which also, I feel like the scenarios that you're placed in, particularly on your show, because you guys all live together, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now, where do the guys live on this show?
In the same house.
Okay. Do they have a different floor or?
So they were upstairs, and then we were downstairs.
Okay, guys. And if you're new to the show, to the YouTube channel, definitely hit the like, hit the subscribe. But the three gentlemen that are the celebrities that are selecting through the women are Tyson Bedford, Carlos Boozer, who's a big retired NBA player, and Thaddeus, don't remember his last name, but he is a WWF wrestler. Is he a retired wrestler or is he still active?
Yeah. Retired.
Okay, gotcha. And I have a picture of him. I'll put that up too. So, real quick, before we go deeper into it, let's do a quick recap of this last episode together to be able to
Mhm.
just bring people up to date, especially for those who may not have watched the show. Now, this is Thaddeus. Thaddeus is Dr. Ariel's love interest. Now, at this point, he's the only one that you're interested in, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I call her Dr. Ariel for a very clear reason. Now, Dr. Ariel, you want to tell him why I am very specific to call you doctor?
I think some people, actually, a lot of people ask me this. They say, why weren't they calling you doctor on the show? And honestly, I've had my doctorate for almost 15 years. So I'm very used to having the doctorate. Like, it's not like, oh, call me Dr. Ariel. But when I saw they were calling the other women with different disciplines and different industries, and we all
Right.
have doctorates,
Mhm.
I thought maybe just to keep it even, that we all should be addressed similar. So if we're going to
I
say
agree.
doctors, then say doctor. If we're going to say our first names, then say our first name.
Right. And your doctorate is it physical therapy?
Yes.
It's in physical therapy. You also have your MBA. And there was another cast member. There was a scene where another cast member has an MD, and she tried to make the distinction between MDs and PhDs as though it is, higher level. She actually went to the same school that I went to for my doctorate. And so, I always think about that because yes, we know MDs, you then have to go to residency and other things. I got it. But I just think I was just really impressed to see that there were literally so many educated women
Yes.
all on the show that the guys are able to date through. So,
Yes.
all right. So on this episode, it literally is taking us into the finale. They are down to 6 women. Is it 6? Yes. They were down
So
to
I
6
think
ladies.
there were
7?
7. Was it
Gotcha.
6 or 7?
I think it was 7 too. Yeah, it
Okay.
was 7 because Allison. So
Yes.
there were 7 women. So basically, Tyson was the one that had 3. Tyson had the beautiful Felicia. This is basically what Tyson and Felicia look like all the time. She has a beautiful face, but you may not recognize it just because he was usually slobbing it down, not slobbing on the knob, but slobbing it down.
No, not
You
slobbing
guys,
knob.
no, not on the knob, but you guys were actually not allowed to do it to each other. Is that right?
Well, did they give you those same rules?
No, we were absolutely allowed to. We were allowed to. They
Oh,
just gave it. They actually had a little, like when you trick or treat and they give you like a little plastic bowl filled with the candy. We had one of those filled with condoms. I don't
what?
think anybody used them.
No, it was actually against our rules.
Oh, boo for you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you. But but that's actually probably for the best considering, that you guys were dealing with celebrities and we were dealing with poor people. All right. Next up. So there was Tyson and Felicia. There's also Tyson and this is Jennifer.
Mhm.
And then there was also Tyson and this is Allison. So those were those 3. Basically, towards the end of the episode, Allison she had a moment. Each couple this week got to sit down with Holly Robinson and her husband, who are the host of the show, for like a one-on-one. And basically, Tyson and Allison realized they weren't a fit. I'm going to say we all knew that they weren't going to be a fit that Tyson would feel comfortable leaving home with because she is a whole grown woman.
Mm-mm.
She's age appropriate. Tyson is 53. However, he does say that he wants more kids. So
Yes.
there's that. And he just seems to have a type. Supermodel-esque, no problem with that. And he's definitely like a fun time, good time boy. However, what made it one of the kind of plot twists is that they had a dating expert, and the dating expert did some statistics and found each expert found 3 women that expert believed would be the best fit based on their responses to substantive questions for each guy. Allison was actually the most appropriate fit for Tyson, but he sent her home this episode. So that happened, as well as I'm going to end with your scenario, as well as Mr. Boozer, Carlos Boozer, and his cutie patootie Janae. Do I have their picture up? Nope, I may not have their picture up just yet. Yeah, so Carlos and Janae, I don't have their picture up, but Carlos is the tall gentleman on the left. Him and Janae, they decided they were going to be boyfriend and girlfriend. So now they go together. They were pretty locked in since day one. Janae was cheated on way too many times, especially because she's very beautiful. But Janae has some security challenges that she's working through. So he's trying to appease those while also working through the fact that he cheated on all of his wives. Now, what I love about Carlos is number one, I said this in my last episode talking about the show, is he married at 20. So that says to me he does have a sense of commitment and wanting to be like committed and faithful to family. But he married at 20 and then he was like a top 10 draft pick. So that wasn't gonna work. And then he acknowledges though that he cheated on his wife. But what I love is that the mistress, he married her. So it's like a happy ending. Allegedly. So he's had two wives. He cheated on both of them. Allegedly cheated on both of them. But he's been very open and said, he's past that. He doesn't want to do any of that anymore. And he's going to be committed to his future woman. I actually do believe him because we know more what we want. Like he had no business getting married at 20, like with that level of celebrity. But what's forgiven and moved on, that's fine. I just think that I think he actually comes off as a really nice guy trying to do the right thing. However, Janae kind of is annoying with regards to her insecurity. But at the same time, when you're seeing someone like kiss somebody else in your face, what the hell are you going to do? So Carlos is off the market. The only other person he was considering was Jennifer, who is now focused on Tyson. So Tyson's got the two girls, Jennifer and Felicia. Felicia's also from Houston. Did you know Felicia before the show?
No, we became friends on the show.
Oh, okay, great. And then finally, Thaddeus has two love interests, of course, yourself, and the other doctor, who is Khadijah. Here. Kalia, thank you. Kalia. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that, shapes up towards in the final episode next week. But I wanted to talk about, okay, your little love affair with Thaddeus. When you first got there and you saw the three men, who were you initially attracted to?
Tyson.
Okay. Why is that?
He is very good looking.
Yes, that is true.
He's fine.
Fine, for real. And you were familiar with him, right? Had you ever seen or heard of Thaddeus before?
No, I didn't. I only knew who Tyson was. I didn't know who Thaddeus was or Carlos.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah. Me either, by the way. Me either. And then what made you decide that you wanted to focus on Thaddeus?
Well, he asked me out on a date first. So it was like one of those things. It's like, okay, well, you asked me, so I'm going to hang with you.
And I feel like Thaddeus actually likes Black girls, like for real.
Yes. Well, that's what he says. So he says he's looking for a Black woman.
And it's not that Tyson doesn't, but Thaddeus was the one contestant, I guess, or whatever, the one cast member of the show as far as the three guys that I was like, oh yeah, that seems to be his preference. We seem to be his preference. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So then you go on a date with Thaddeus, but for a while you were entertaining Tyson as well. What made you decide to focus on Thaddeus?
Oh, I never entertained Tyson.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it was only Thaddeus.
Hey, Bree. Okay, Bree's in the chat. Thank you. Okay, hey, so it was only Thaddeus. Hey, Kat. Love how my sister things are all here.
And Shawana's on too.
Oh, another doctor. Hey, Shawana.
Yes.
Okay, so then you move, you're focused on Thaddeus. What was it about him that made you decide, like, I'm going to take this seriously. I'm going to see where this could go? Because, I mean, this is TV. You could have just used it for a free vacation.
Yeah. We actually had a lot in common. He's from Florida, actually the same county I'm from. He's from Palm Beach. I'm from Palm Beach. He went to a rival school of mine. So I went to FSU. He went to UF.
Really?
He's a Q dog. I'm a Delta. So we just had all these
Girl.
lined up and we got along so well. And it doesn't show on the show the way editing and production decided to do it, but
Yep.
we were attached to the hip. Like when I say you saw
Oh,
Thaddeus, you saw me, and vice versa. So we spent a lot of time just like shooting the shit, laughing, giggling, having a good time. So I really enjoyed hanging out with him and being around him. And of course, I was attracted to him. So we did have that chemistry going on as well.
now, so then how did you feel? So you guys, one of the things that's different with this show than Ready to Love is each week they would add new ladies. So you were added, was it week 2, basically, the second
The
episode?
second. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So you were in that segment with Brianna. So how did you feel when Kalia?
Oh, when Kalia came in with the
Yeah,
matchmaker?
Kalia. When Kalia came in.
Okay. So my opinion about that was like, we had to come in and organically see who we connect with and see if it was reciprocated. With them, it was like, hey, here you go. This is your person. You don't have to do any of the lead work. You're great on paper together. So, and they also got alone time with the guys that we never got, because you saw we did a whole bunch of group dates. So I felt like they gave them more of a foot forward to connect with the guys than they gave us.
And what's interesting is I'm certain that whatever the results were of their personality test, it was like they had to do that in order to even get them to participate. In other words, like episode 1, there was a girl who was very interested in Tyson. Tyson was very interested in her. So much so, Tyson had actually DM'd her years ago and, told her she was beautiful. But then when the second set of women were added, she was up out there. She was like, I'm leaving. This is ridiculous. Da, da, da. I almost wonder if some of those ladies, like Kalia or others, would not have even participated if they had not been the last to join.
Yeah. I don't think they would have been put on such a high degree of connection. Yeah. Like when they put them as the matchmakers, 80%, 86% success rate, it gave them a sense of, I'm higher than you guys because this is my match. And you can kind of tell by like Kalia's behavior of like, no, this is my man. Because he had that insight of like, hey, we match on paper. The matchmaker said it, so it must be true, right? So
like the second episode we saw Kalia, she announced to Thaddeus that he was her husband.
Yeah. So I think gave them that sense of like, I know I got the head up. For us, we're still trying to figure out, we have to do it like regular people. We have to see if we connect. Do we have similar life goals,
But do you feel that Thaddeus put her on a pedestal above those of you who had already been there?
I think so. I think he took that really serious, that she was his match.
Okay. That's very interesting because in comparison to like Tyson was like, yeah, so what? Who cares?
Yeah, he said, no. She don't know what she's doing.
Tyson was like, okay, jump in the lake. Who cares? Yes, the assignment of it all. No, absolutely. All right. So, particular episode. And you guys had a special moment. You were there, and you were sitting with, let me pull it back up. You were there and you were meeting and talking about your relationship and your feelings with Holly Robinson Pete and her husband. Which one? Where did it go? There you go. And her husband. And they asked you guys about the L word. The question posed to you was, do you feel like you're falling in love? And what did you say?
Well, first I hesitated because I was caught off guard. And I really had to think about how I felt in that moment with him, because of course it was not seen, unfortunately, but me and him also had ups and downs. And I was trying to determine if we were compatible. Like I knew growing feelings for him. So that's why I was like, I think it's safe to say I can be falling, I could be on that path. I'm not in love, right? But I can say, okay, from our connection so far, I feel like we could be on that path.
So it sounds like multiple women had ups and downs with him. So
yes.
Did that seem to be okay? Gotcha.
Tell
us about one of the.
I didn't know that until watching the show, because you know when you're
Really?
not filming with someone, you don't know what's going on in their scene. So
That's
it was
true.
interesting seeing this on TV. That was my first time seeing it. So I was like, oh my gosh. And I started seeing the pattern, because I didn't see
Mm.
the house, but how they edited it, I was like, wow, is this a true pattern that the conflict that
Ah,
he does have with women? So it was interesting to see.
okay. How did you feel about that? What the hell did I just do? Uh-uh. Take that off. I'm gonna adjust it back. Um, what was one of the ups and downs that you had, or one of the disagreements, or what have you, that y'all had that wasn't pictured, but that was very memorable for you?
I think everyone saw the pool scene, right? I
Which
think,
one?
well, with him trying to diffuse the situation with the conversation that I was having with Tari. Meanwhile, it was just a conversation.
Uh-huh.
I personally don't think I was popping off, because I know how I pop off. So
So,
to me,
and let me just set it up for the audience. So basically, Ariel was in the pool, minding her business, or like around the water, hanging out. And one of the other ladies, what was her name?
Tari.
Yes, Kyrie. She said something, and the two of you guys, and you guys basically were sassy to one another.
Mhm.
And but because he liked you, I guess more so, or the most, or what have you, he turned to you and was like, "Stop! Like you don't need to do that." Basically,
Mhm.
and how did you feel when he did that?
Um, Here's the thing. That scene all started with Daddy is bringing something up to rile up something. So
Mm.
he brought up the conversation about, I'm gonna have a list, right? Because I'm gonna have people, me and Carlo gonna have people signed up on the list. And I said, well,
Oh,
that's
like Tyson did
yeah, like Tyson.
on
But
the
prior
fridge.
to that, I've been very vocal about how I think the list is stupid when Tyson posted it. And me and him laughed about it. So I was just like, so you already know my feelings about the list, and you decide to make an announcement in front of everyone, say, hey, I'm getting a list too. I was just like, well, I'm not gonna sign up for it, and I think it's stupid. So when Tari inserted herself into my conversation with him, that's when I addressed her. So I felt like I was very calm. Like there was nothing
Uh-huh.
about me that felt like it escalated or anything. I think with him removing me made it more than it was. It made it more of an escalation than it had to be.
Ah.
Hmm.
Okay, I can see that. Totally, I see that. Um, so that was one that was viewed, but what were there any that were
Well,
not
that was
on
the only
him?
two. So
Oh,
that
okay.
that literally lingered on the whole time. So that showed me how he does not get over conflict.
Well,
So
hold on. But do you think that could have also been like, so what happens, y'all, is when you sit down for your confessional, there is a producer on the other side of the screen, and
mm,
they ask you questions about the events that happened that day or that week or what have you. So do you think it could have been, though, that production continued to ask him questions about it?
I don't know. Maybe they try to make it bigger. I know for me, um, my issue was bringing up something in front of everyone, but you don't want me to respond in front of everyone. And you want me
Ah.
to pull you to the side out of respect for you, right? But you didn't have
Yeah.
respect for me when you brought this up in front of everyone. But because
Uh-huh.
I'm the woman, you want me to be silent and wait till we behind closed doors to bring up something to you, although you can bring it up in front of everyone. So I
I
thought that
like
was a bit hypocritical, but I was
mm.
like, maybe that's what type of woman he's looking for, is someone who's more mute and doesn't have much of a voice. So that's when I started thinking, like, I don't know if we're compatible, because I very much have a voice.
Fair enough. Well, and then he brought his ex-girlfriend or ex-fiance, whatever she
Mhm.
was, he did bring her on the show. And when I saw her, she looked like a very strong woman. I thought that was a gay lady, actually. I thought it was his stud bestie. Because she looked like she'd give him a good 1-2 punch, baby. And that she
Ah,
might steal his woman type of thing. But come to find out that I was wrong. I was wrong. Sometimes I'm wrong a little bit. But I say that to say she seemed like a strong person and or
mhm.
personality too. So that's interesting that it came off that way. Now, were there any other scenes either with other like when we talked with Bree 2 weeks ago, she talked about, I had asked her, were there any scenes that didn't air that you wish would have? And she talked about a scene that was very personal to her, that was about some challenges that she had overcome, that she wished, she could have brought more awareness to had it aired. For you, were there any that you wish had aired but didn't?
I feel like I wish they would have showed me and Thaddeus' storyline building up more, so people can actually see the connection. Because right now it seemed like the way that it was edited, it was like, okay, you saw me, and then 4 episodes later you didn't see me anymore, and then now you see me in the finale. So it's like very weird the way
Very weird.
that they didn't build a story for us. So I think
very strange.
Like if they did that to understand the dynamic of us and why I'm still around, So
I agree. In fact, we pushed back this episode, this interview, because last week there was like none of you. I was like, I mean, we saw you, but you weren't involved in any of the storylines. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. That might just mean that they have too many ladies, and maybe the next time they do this type of season, they should pull it back so that more storylines can be followed.
For
but
sure.
So let's talk about the L word. So basically, for you, it's you and Thaddeus. He also has the love interest, Kalia, who's also there. You expressed that you felt that you were falling for him.
Yes.
And you got choked up a bit. I think a lot of times now, I was like a crybaby, but I also think I have a chemical imbalance on my season. But I think a lot of people don't realize the emotions that the process pulls out of you, which I believe is because they know you so intimately when they interview you, when they put you through the personality test. Aside from getting choked up there, did you have any other times on the show where you either cried or almost came to tears? Tell me about some of those.
Lord, don't let them air this. There's so many times, like I cried during the conversation I was having with him about, it was right after the elimination dinner that he brought me to. We had a conversation about that, and I ended up crying in that room. I was like, oh, please, I don't want them to show that, because I felt like I was super emotional.
What made you feel emotional?
Some of the things he was saying, and I was just like, that is not true. So I was getting emotional about it because I was like, you're just not hearing me at all.
Did you feel misunderstood?
I felt like he wasn't trying to hear me at all. I think he's set on his viewpoint and how you should say things. So I don't really like men who say, don't tell me about your feelings, tell me facts. And you're just like, no, it is important for you to understand how I feel in this moment. Not just what are facts, black and white, because feelings aren't black and white. Like, they're my feelings.
It very much seemed like Thaddeus was leading with what he didn't want. He was leading with like his pains from his prior relationship. And he was just looking for any hint of a similarity to whatever the other behaviors was. So for example, he seemed to articulate, he felt that he couldn't express himself or that he wasn't heard. So if he got in a conversation and he felt like she wasn't listening to him, even though he actively was not listening to the woman at the time that he was having a conversation with, he'd be like, oh no, I can't handle this. I'm not going to deal with this. So it's almost like projecting. I think that's what the psychiatrist
definitely projecting the things that he doesn't want in his own actions. So that's the irony, because that's exactly how he communicated with me in particular. He didn't allow for me to even speak enough for him to gain understanding.
Yeah, it's almost like they're so fearful that they're going to end up with whatever it is that they had before that didn't work, that they don't give it, that they see things that aren't necessarily there. I'll put it that way.
Yes.
So going to one of the really interesting themes and moments of this last episode that I want to focus on before we do some fun stuff was the concept of falling in love versus walking in love, etc. So there was a scene with Holly Robinson and her husband, and the question was, did you feel like you were falling in love? And you said yes, you thought that you were. There we go. You said yes, you thought that you were. And then when he was asked whether he felt that he was falling in love, he said no. And then explain how he elaborated.
Yeah. Well, let me preface this and say,
Go for it.
I hated watching this scene. Like, it was so
Why?
just seeing how they, first of all, how they edited it and just said no. And I was just like, well, damn. So they made
Yep.
it seem like I was just, it was a one-sided relationship. So I didn't like that part. But I understood if he truly believes that, right? I understand if he says, hey, I don't want to use the verbiage falling. Okay. Because to him, he says that's an uncontrollable act and he wants to control it, right? To me, I don't think love is like that. Like, I think love is something that happens organically and we shouldn't try to control it so much. And then
Yeah.
I also don't think that you have to always be the deepest person in the room. Like, if someone says they're falling in love with you, you don't have to say, don't use falling, use walking. It's like, come on, you're ruining the moment. You're doing too much. So in
Yeah,
this moment, I
exactly. Yeah.
hated in this scene.
I also feel like love is the opposite of control. I feel like if you truly love someone, you don't have to control them
Yes.
because when you're in love, you're going to do everything with your partner's best interest at the forethought, including doing things that are the best for your partner, even if it's not the best thing for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the two can't coexist. Either you love me or you want to control me.
Yes.
But you can't possibly trust me to love you back if you're controlling me, because that means you don't trust I have your best interest.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. And I think that's his defense mechanism, speaking of trying to be so, you know how someone try to be very deliberate and intentional of what they say.
Yeah.
Instead of just letting it flow. Like, you're just thinking so much, you're in your head so much about, I'm not gonna say falling. I'm not gonna say this. Like, it's very, it's
I
very
also feel like these kind of shows though are tough for men because of the fact that, like, the majority of these shows, right, are watched by women. And so these guys are drugged. They are very much like pulled through the ringer. So it's like every word, everything they say matters, because later down the line, if they want to endorse a brand or this or that, if women are a large part of their demographic, but those women feel like they're a doucheball,
yeah.
that's going to impact their livelihood later. So it's really interesting to see how I feel like on a lot of these shows, the men have to pretend to be like better people than they probably really
Yeah.
are in life.
But people see through that. People see through
They
it. And they
do.
see that you're not being your authentic self. And that's why they can't get invested in your story.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, so his other love interest, as we mentioned, is Dr. Kalia. Now, there was a segment there where they asked them the same thing, whether she was falling in love with him. She said yes. They asked him the same, and he said the same. It's not falling, it's walking, it's intentional, or whatever. And he specifically said, I'm not in love with you, but basically, I have love for you, and it's growing. Got it. Duly noted. At this point, about how long had y'all been here? Was it like 3 weeks? Or 2?
Maybe. Well, I was there weeks before Kalia, so she had to be there maybe a hot 2 weeks, maybe, and
Oh,
maybe a week and a half. I'm not sure. It was very short for her.
but for
But we
you, how long had you been there?
maybe around 4 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
How long were you there total? Oh, you might not be able to tell me that. It's okay.
Yeah.
We'll say it was 4 weeks, and then that's taking us, and that makes sense, taking us into the finale.
Mm-hmm.
Woo, all day, every day seeing these men. And
Yes,
oh, that's
all
right.
day living together, everything.
And so the girls that were there week 1 probably had a 5th week. Good Lord.
Yeah.
So Felicia had a 5th week. Bless her heart.
No, Felicia came in with me.
Oh, she did. Oh, you're
Uh-huh.
right. She did. You're right. She looked so much like the girl from week 1. It just it brought me to that. So how did it feel for you? No, number one, you don't see these episodes before we as
Mm-mm.
the public do, right?
Not the whole thing. We get like clips of what they're gonna show, like just minute clips. Like, you really don't know what's gonna be in the
The
episode.
promotional clips. Yeah, to
Yeah.
share on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
So I had no idea how their session went.
Got you. But when you saw it on TV, were you surprised that his answer was the same for her as for you, or so similar, I guess?
I I was more curious to see what questions Holly and Rodney were going to ask them, how Thaddeus was going to answer, because I kept it very separate. So when I was getting to know Thaddeus, I didn't talk about Kalia. I didn't ask no questions, nothing. So seeing their interaction, this is all brand new for me. So all
Gotcha.
like, wow, this is how they connected. This is what he said to them. Like, I didn't even know they had that argument. I was like, wow, they had that intense argument. So all this is new for me. Yeah.
So, and then towards the end of the episode, after you had your moment with him, y'all had your date, you were walking upstairs and you looked down and you saw them basically taking a nap together, arm in arm. And you were like, you made a comment. You were like, oh, that's interesting. You just said you were like falling in love or walking in love with me. And now you're all hugged up with her. How did you feel when you saw that?
One, I thought Kalia was doing too much, right? Because I did see her get up, like wake. He was like dead ass sleep, right? And she went out of her way to like snuggle up and try to put his arm around her. And one, they not small people, so trying to fit on that tiny ass couch, I was like, this girl doing too much. So me and Felicia hung out all the time, and I didn't realize even the camera was on. So when I saw that, I was being very facetious. Was like, oh, that's so cute, like. Because I just thought I was doing too much. The man just trying to sleep.
Do you think they heard you?
I said it so anyone can hear me.
Oh, okay. Well, because you were upstairs. So I just, you know, versus
close proximity. So I was like, oh, okay. So cute. Y'all so cute. But I knew Thaddeus was sleeping. So I didn't care if Kalia heard me. But I just thought that was so funny because she was like fully dressed, right? But she just had to do that.
Had that moment.
She just doing too much.
Were you over it at that point?
I wasn't over it. I think it was comical. So I was more so laughing because I was just like, this is hilarious.
At the process. Gotcha.
Yeah,
all right. Now, this is one of my favorite parts of the interview. I call it class favorites. This comes in part from the fact that, when I was on, so I very much feel like a lot of times on these reality shows, the people who look like the most put together, the kindest, sweetest, and real life be the craziest or be the biggest a-holes. Okay. It just varies. So we're going to call this class favorites. I'm going to throw out a title and I want you to name a cast member that you feel like fits that title. Okay. First off, Miss Congeniality.
I don't really know what that title means. Like,
it means like the friendliest, the bubbliest, the one who could like was friendly and get along with multiple groups.
Maybe Denitra.
Okay, Denitra. Gotcha. Yeah. Oh, she was she had the muscles.
She was the other bodybuilder.
The other bodybuilder. Okay, got it. Most likely to succeed, whatever that means for you.
I think maybe in Kalia's head, she was most likely to succeed.
Okay. Most talented, whatever that means to you.
I think in Allison's head, she was most talented.
Definitely. Okay. Yep. Class clown.
Who was funny?
Yeah. Funny, cutting up, prankster, any of the above.
No, there was no pranksters. But you know who comments I thought were so funny? Like watching the show back, like who had a lot of one-liners? My girl Felicia. Like I thought her stuff was so funny.
Gotcha. Was she the one you were closest to in the house?
It was her and Sarah.
Okay, gotcha. And Sarah. Okay, y'all. Sarah was the girl who Tyson sent her home because 10 years prior she was in a relationship with R. Kelly. I thought that was the dumbest thing. How did you feel when you found that out about Sarah and that he was sending her home for that reason?
I did not like how he treated her. I didn't think it was okay to treat someone like that because of their past. And I think there are more ways to have a conversation and say, hey, we're just not a good fit. You know?
Absolutely.
And I don't think he handled it like a true gentleman. And I think it left her feeling really heartbroken. And I didn't like that.
Absolutely. I agree. All right. So a few more class favorites. Mean Girl. Who would you say would be Mean Girl? Mean Girl cast member.
Actually, I would say the 3 women that came in as the matchmakers, I thought they were actually the Mean Girls.
Ooh, okay, okay. I could see that. I usually find that like the mean girls are usually the ones that they try to make look the most perfect. I don't know
Yes.
why that is.
And that is what,
No, go ahead.
no, I said that's exactly what happened.
All right, last two. All right, who is most likely to stab somebody?
Kalia.
That's so perfect that it would be the doctor with the MD. And finally, most likely to get pregnant.
Either Felicia
Okay,
or Janae.
got you. Got you. Okay. Well, we really enjoyed you. I want to give you an opportunity for you to share with us what are you up to next? Where can we follow you? How can we support you? I'm going to put you big on the screen here. And pull myself.
Okay, so my name on IG is I am Ari Danae, and then on Facebook is Ariel Ball. Right now, I am actually preparing for a bodybuilding competition that I have going on this Saturday. So I'm like, no carbs. I'm very hungry. I'm working out a lot. So I'm trying to win. I'm a pro bodybuilder, and this will be my second show of the year. So I'm really focused on trying to get that win. That's it, Symone. Where you at?
Sorry. I was like, why can't you see me? Okay, there you go. And then where else can we follow you? Give us your IG as well as any websites, etc.
So on IG, I am Ariel Ari Danae. I am Ari
Okay,
Danae.
gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll
And then
put
on
that
Facebook,
down below.
okay. And then on Facebook, it's simpler. It's my first and last name, Ariel Ball.
Gotcha. So after this experience, do you think you'd ever do reality TV again?
Not like this.
Okay, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by
So
not
the
like this?
living together, the filming all day, the lockdown, like I don't want cameras in my face all day. And
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather come in, do a scene, and leave. I can do something like that.
I agree. Like I was envious of the other scenes of Ready to Love because mine filmed during the pandemic. So we lived on a resort. So we all lived there. And I felt like I would do much better in one where I could, come, film, leave, go home, deal with my real friends. It was
Yes.
something about being stuck there where you have to smile in the face of people hate you, who are plotting against you,
Yes.
and in my case, there was like, we started with 10 guys, but like there were really only like two like ones that, I potentially would be interested in.
Mhm.
And a lot of them were poor. So there was that too. So I started getting sick of them and I was like, I just want to fucking leave. But I feel like I would have, and I think it was very clear, like multiple people would watch and be like, why is Symone still there? And I was thinking, that's what I would fucking want to know. Back to Dallas or back to Houston. They asked, are you doing any more bodybuilding competitions soon? Yes, she said she is. What's your next competition? Can we watch
On
it?
Saturday. Yes. So it is in Houston and it's on Saturday. It's called the Power Center. It's like South Houston somewhere. They do have it on live. So you can watch the show live off their website.
Oh, awesome.
And I can post it. I can give you the link. So you
Yes.
guys can watch me compete. Live Saturday, the show starts at 10 a.m.
Awesome. Well,
And it'll
and
be
also
on my page as well. So I'll have the link on my page.
perfect. And if you do any training or anything, of course, people want to know how they can look like you. So make sure you share that on your socials, etc. And then after this, I will definitely plug in like links to your social media so that we can follow you. Thank you so much. I definitely, after the finale, want to have you back, want to have Bree back. So that way we can really kiki and we can talk. And I think a lot of us have some various different questions.
We need like a reunion of all the women.
Yeah. Do you know if they're going to have one?
I don't think so. We haven't heard anything about that. So I would love for us all, like all the women from the beginning to the end, just to see as they're watching the show what their opinions are about it, So it'd be so cool to get their feedback.
Hey, Kat, absolutely. So Do you know whether the other shows, like the female versions of the Queen's Court, did they have reunions? I can't
Mm-mm.
remember. They didn't have reunions either.
No.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Well,
know.
we really want to know. Yeah, we need a reunion. Also, Mr. Packer, if you need, I can host the reunion.
Oh,
I
that would be lovely.
promise.
Look, you would
I
be a
can do
great
it. I
host
know.
because you ask some good questions. And I hate when hosts are like playing it safe. I'm like, no, ask the real questions. We want to know.
Right. The worst you can do is not answer. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Ariel. Dr. Ariel, we really appreciate you. All right, you guys, hit the like, hit your comments, put your comments below, and also let me know what other content do you guys want to see next, other interviews, etc. And I'm also going to try and take some clips and put it on social media so people can see those as well. So thank you again and have
Symone.
a great evening. Good night, y'all.
Bye.